Here's something that sounds completely wrong. The biggest change in your financial life doesn't happen when you become a millionaire, it doesn't happen when you buy your dream house, and it doesn't even happen when your investments start making thousands of dollars every month. For most people, the biggest change happens after saving just $10,000. Now, $10,000 isn't enough to retire. It's not enough to quit your job. It's not enough to buy financial freedom. So why do people who've reached this number often describe it as the moment everything changed? Why do they suddenly feel calmer, think differently, make smarter decisions, and somehow keep building wealth even faster? The answer has almost nothing to do with the money itself. It has everything to do with what that money does to your mind. Because the day you save your first $10,000, you stop playing an entirely different game. And once you understand why, you'll never look at saving money the same way again. Most people believe money changes your life because it lets you buy more things. A bigger house, a nicer car, better vacations, more expensive clothes, but that's only the visible side of money. The invisible side is much more powerful. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering your car won't start. If your bank account has only a few $100s, your brain immediately goes into panic mode. How much will this cost? What if it's thousands? How am I supposed to pay rent? What if I need to borrow money? Notice something. The problem isn't just a broken car. The problem is uncertainty. Your brain hates uncertainty. When money is scarce, every unexpected expense feels like a threat to your survival. Psychologists call this a scarcity mindset. When your resources feel limited, your brain becomes obsessed with solving today's problems. It becomes difficult to think about next year, or retirement, or investing, because your mind is busy trying to survive this week. That's why so many people feel trapped. They're working harder than ever, yet they never feel secure, not because they don't earn enough, but because they never create enough distance between themselves and financial emergencies. That's where the first $10,000 changes everything. The first change, fear starts losing its power. Imagine driving a car with almost no fuel. Every mile feels stressful. Every wrong turn matters. You're constantly looking for the next gas station. That's how many people live financially. One surprise bill, one medical emergency, one lost paycheck, and they're in serious trouble. Now imagine driving with a full tank. The roads haven't changed, traffic still exists, problems still happen, but the anxiety disappears. That extra fuel changes how relaxed you feel. Your savings work exactly the same way. The money doesn't eliminate problems, it eliminates panic. And panic is one of the biggest reasons people make terrible financial decisions. The second change, you stop buying relief. Have you ever had a stressful day, then ordered expensive food, bought something online, or treated yourself because you felt like you deserved it? Almost everyone has. The strange thing is, many purchases aren't made because we truly want them. They're made because we're trying to feel better. Money problems create emotional pressure. Shopping temporarily relieves that pressure. It's like putting a tiny bandage over a much bigger wound. But once you have meaningful savings, your overall stress level drops. And when stress drops, impulse spending often drops too. You stop using money to escape anxiety. Instead, you start using money as a tool. That's a completely different relationship with wealth. The third change, you gain the power to say no. This is one of the most underrated benefits of saving money. Imagine your boss asks you to work every weekend. You hate it, but your bank account is nearly empty. Can you really refuse? Probably not. Now, imagine you have several months of expenses saved. Suddenly, you have choices. You can negotiate. You can leave a toxic workplace. You can search for something better. Savings don't just buy things, they buy freedom. Not complete freedom, but enough freedom to make decisions based on what you actually want instead of what you desperately need, and that's incredibly valuable. The fourth change, your brain starts thinking long term. Here's something fascinating. The human brain naturally focuses on immediate rewards. That's why spending money feels easier than saving it. The reward happens today. Saving feels different. You're giving up pleasure now for a benefit you can't even see. But once your savings reach around $10,000, something interesting happens. Your future becomes real. Instead of asking, what can I buy this weekend? You begin asking, what happens if I invest this? What if I keep this growing? What could this become in 10 years? This is one of the biggest mental shifts in personal finance. You stop thinking like a spender. You start thinking like an owner. The fifth change, opportunities start finding. You imagine two friends lose their jobs tomorrow. The first has almost no savings. Within days, they're forced to accept the first job available, even if the pay is lower, even if they hate it. The second has $10,000 saved. They can spend weeks looking for a better opportunity, learn a new skill, take interviews, negotiate. The difference isn't intelligence, the difference is time. Savings buy time, and time creates better decisions. Many people think opportunities appear randomly. Often, they're only visible to people who can afford to wait. Here's the deeper lesson. People often think wealth comes from making more money. Sometimes it does, but more often, wealth comes from changing how you behave around money. Think about it. Someone earning $60,000 who saves consistently can eventually become wealthy. Someone earning $300,000 who spends everything may never build lasting wealth. Income creates possibility. Behavior creates results. That's why the first $10,000 matters so much, because it proves something. It proves you can delay gratification, control your spending, stick to a plan, build discipline. And those skills are far more valuable than the money itself. The dollars may be sitting in your account, but the real investment happened inside your mind. So how should you think about your first $10,000? Don't treat it as money that's waiting to be spent. Treat it as the foundation of your financial life. Every dollar saved reduces fear. Every month you continue saving builds confidence. Automate your savings whenever possible. Increase your income when you can. Avoid lifestyle inflation every time you get a raise. And remember, the goal isn't reaching $10,000 as quickly as possible. The goal is becoming the kind of person who naturally keeps building wealth. Because once your habits change, the numbers usually follow. Most people spend years chasing a bigger paycheck, believing that one day everything will finally feel different. But financial peace rarely arrives because of one giant breakthrough. It usually begins with one simple milestone, your first $10,000. Not because it's a magical number, but because it's the moment your money starts working for your mind instead of your mind constantly worrying about money. You stop reacting, you start planning, you stop surviving, you start building. And that's why saving your first $10,000 isn't the finish line. It's the moment the real journey finally begins. The people who become wealthy aren't always the ones who earn the most. They're often the ones who reach this turning point and never look back.